Hello, Storytelling Run. I'm going to talk about die rank results in For the Lord RPG. Okay, so let's go to here. What is a die rank result? All right, so die rank result is you're trying to decide how to do something where they want a result based on the roll, how high the roll is, the result. But the simplest one here, I'm just going to use this little situation here. Let's say they're around this campfire. They had a big bad fight with these giant crabs in this underground cave, and they're wounded, they're resting, they're cooking. So there's several different die rank results they could be rolling here. One, the first and simplest is prayer. They can let's get together and pray, that we make it through this, and we're suffering or whatever. So okay, they pray. So what I do is, okay, I will say they need to beat a 12. 12 is the basic default number you could choose. I could choose a couple different numbers. 12. I could do another thing though, where I say based on the toughness of the situation, I could raise that number a little higher because they're praying earnestly, but they're in a dire situation. So I could say, you're in a cave. That's 1 die rank difficulty. You all are wet and uncomfortable. 2 die ranks. Do you have bedding or comfort? Yes, we have bedding. Okay, so I won't do a 3rd die rank because they have bedding, so that takes away from that. You know what? They have a fire there. They started. So I'm going to take another die rank rate. So just 1 die rank. What's a 1? And I can't think of anything else right now. They got their camping. They got their fire. I said it was cold and dark. They're uncomfortable. Okay, just the 1 die rank. 1 die rank penalty. So 12 is the number I think they should have, but I'm going to roll a 1 die rank, which is a D4. D4 is 1, D6 is 2, D8 is 3, D10 is 4, and D12 is 5. So I'm going to add 3. So 12 plus 3 is a 15. So I'm going to say it's a 15 difficulty as you're praying for your prayer to have a die rank result. So what does that mean? So they're going to roll, the nun is going to roll the prayer. She's like, let's just say she has a really high prayer skill, literally a prayer skill. But she also has bless, right, as the blessing. And she's going to use bless to help her with her prayer. She also has a book of Psalms that gives her 2 die ranks in prayer. They're together. So I'm going to say a corporate, they have a campfire. Okay, fine. I'll give her that, comforting space. So let's just say the 2 die ranks from the Psalms book she's going to read from and sing from. Her skill is 2 die ranks. The fire is 1 die rank. They're corporately together, so that's 6 die ranks. What else? She uses blessing, right? So let's say she has 3 more die ranks. So that is 9 die ranks. 9 die ranks. Let's stop there. 9 die ranks. And you can keep going on if they really, if the players, well, we try to do this and we do that. Okay, another die rank. And I, as a GM, I love die ranks that you can add to the roll because it doesn't destroy the game, too terribly. Obviously they want to get to 12 die ranks, 15 die ranks, 20 die ranks. Obviously then they're going to have a really good chance of success. But it doesn't necessarily destroy the game, and they could roll low. But let's just say what I end up with 9 die ranks. So 9 die ranks is the roll, right? So she's got her D20 roll. She's got her +4, let's say, for spirit. I don't remember what a spirit is, but whatever it is. Her D20, her trait roll, which is ability score or whatever, and it equates to D&D and all the old school games. But she also has these die ranks. So the die ranks is the important part. What does it translate to? 9 die ranks is, well, every 5 is a D12. So she's got a D12. And then what's left over is 4 left over. So that's D10, right? So a D... See how you got the dice here. It goes die rank 1, die rank 2, die rank 3, die rank 4, die rank 5. So the first 5 is a D12. And then die rank 1. And then what's left over is 4. So that's a D10. So it's a D10 and a D12 is what she has for her die rank. So I have a little code here I'm going to use, or a little. I took out the percentile die and made a dice pool, and this is what it is. And what I say, D12 and a D10. So I'm going to retype that D10. This right here is, I had to just do that to fix it. But anyway, that's what it would look like. I know you can't really see it because it's so small in the bottom right, but it's a D12, D10, keep the highest. It's a dice pool, so you keep the highest. You don't add them together. That's what's cool about the die ranks, and going D12 to D12 to, then a D4 or whatever, that you have this dice pool and you pick the highest. Thusly, they can keep adding different die ranks for magic, like let's use D&D terminology here. When you have a bunch of magic items and spells and scrolls and potions or whatever that give you all these bonuses, in regular role-playing games, it's like, oh, you got a +12 now. Oh, you got +15 now. And so it becomes this constant number, which is always like kind of overpowering. In my game, you don't get that constant number. You get these die ranks. and thusly you could roll low. So this D12 and D10, I could roll a 1 and a 2. That's what I like about this, and it's happened plenty of times where players will get this many die ranks, a D12 and a D10, keep the highest, and they will roll low numbers and fail at something, and it's great, not because they're necessarily failing, but because they don't get to a point in the game after 40 episodes or 40 adventures where they're constantly succeeding. They're still having to struggle along. I can still throw low-level, minions against them, villains. I don't have to go like, after 40 sessions, I don't have to throw a bunch of demonic creatures at them like demigods or something. I don't have to cap them at level 10. It doesn't get wieldy at level 7 or 8. They can still have issues. Okay, so I'm going to roll this. Oops. 20. Okay, I just messed up here. And then a +4. Why doesn't it show the +4? All right, whatever. Let's do it. I hope this works. Okay. Did that work? Did they keep the highest? It doesn't show me the color. Anyway, a 16 and a 9 is 25. Yeah, okay, so 29. It kept the highest. However, with this roll here, and this is the fun thing about the dice pool too, is that you can pick different combo numbers like poker, where those numbers will do special things. Like 2 1s in there would have been a failure. Even if she succeeded at the prayer, she would have had a fumble too. And in this one case, the 8 and 9, both of them are above 7. So she explodes the dice. So the 29 is now a 37. So they're all going, yeah, 37 prayer. What does that mean for die rank results? This video is about die rank results. So what is 37 minus 15? Oh my gosh, what is that? That is 22, right? I'm assuming. Let's say 22. Wow. She's got 22 results. They're all high-fiving each other. Pretty exciting. So I have that, which is 11. 22 and a half is 11, and that's the die ranks. They have 11 die ranks now that they can split amongst the players that they get to for inspired die. So there's 11 die. So each of them will get what? The point that prayers always gives the others the most. So probably 4, 4, and 3, right? So he gets 4 die ranks, she gets 4 die ranks, and she gets 3 die ranks. And they can spend those as bonus die ranks to their combat, later on, to fighting, whatever they want. It's inspiration points, but it's adding an extra die rank to your roll for whatever you want to do. Now, another thing they could do for die rank results is cooking the crab. So if anyone has cooking skill, they got cooking gear, they got salt, they got extra herbs, whatever it is. You can even get herbs that are like +4 die ranks, not magical herbs, but just really, French to herbs or whatever, whatever those combos are. Italian seasoning herbs, +5 die ranks, because it's such an amazing combo. Barbecue sauce +17 die ranks, whatever it is. You can add that to your cooking roll, and ergo a die rank result. And then I would kind of do the same thing where they would, based on the difficulty I chose, the number, and the result of the roll, total, subtract that, half of that would be the die ranks that they get of inspired die. It's funny, the 2 things that I give them sort of equal bonuses inspired die for is prayer and cooking, because we Christians like to eat. I just kind of do. I like to do it that way. Maybe some theologians would say that the cooking doesn't give you the same amount as prayer. Actually, it kind of does in a sense. We break bread. We obviously, Christians believe in breaking bread, and we believe in eating and feasting. Anyway, whatever. But you get inspired die for cooking as well to die rank results. Other die rank results could be for healing. Let's just say now that they're gonna rest, and she's going to heal them. She's going to use her mothering, her healing, whatever die rank result, and I can choose the difficulty number. I could say 12 just to hurry up the story. I might even just say 12 in that sense. I might say, you know what, just beat a 12. Let's figure out what that roll is, and then we'll do the die rank result thing. Or I could say, well, he's really hurt. He's really badly hurt. He's got, he's down 10 points, 10 hit points. I'm going to roll 10 hit points. I'm going to relate that to half of that is 5 die rank. Ooh, D12. I'm going to roll a D12. 6. Add that to the 12. 18. She has to go above an 18 to then heal him, with the die rank result. I could do stuff like that. That's discretionary on the GM to decide that. I use a 12, especially if I want to move the story along or I can't think and nothing comes up as far as like that. But if I start thinking about it and say, well, there's certain factors here that are going to affect your healing. Maybe it's really cold and damp, but they don't have a fire. Maybe they didn't eat, whatever. There's no camping gear. He has a wound as well, so you get hit points and you get wounds. Two different things. Hit points go up and down pretty quickly. They're like cuts and bruises and exhaustion. Exhaustion being the biggest one for me, and when I do my fighting. But also, if he has a grievous wound, which it could be like he has -4 die ranks, let's say in pain, he's at -4 die ranks, which they did have in this game, and she's trying to heal him from his just regular hit point wounds or hit points. I could give him that -4 die ranks as a difficulty, so that's a D10, right? -4 die ranks is a D10. Roll that, add that to a 12, so 15. So instead of the other factor I had, or I could add them together. I could say he's wounded and it's cold and grimy and dirty, blah blah blah. That's 8 die ranks. What's 8 die ranks? It's a D12 and a 3, a D8. I'll pick the highest of one of these two. A 7. 7 plus 12 is 19. So she has to roll above a 19 die rank result to heal him. So it's going to be really harder. I could do things like that with die rank results. I could use 12. I could use just another number I fixate, or I could start adding factors to roll and then add it to the 12. This die rank result is really, I like using it. It's a little dice. Obviously it adds a lot of dice mechanics, which you may or may not like. I love it though, because I'm just into rolling dice in the game. And it's also something I use for, say, they wanting to climb down this. They put a rope, they climb down. I made a die rank result to decide, not even a die rank result necessarily. I just made I do another sort of vague die rank result where when they roll, based on the roll of success, especially above a 12, I could say 12 is the default difficulty. If they rolled like say a 14, I would say, all right, you got to here and next turn you'll get all the way. If they rolled a 22, I would just say, oh, okay, you're all the way down. That's a pretty good number. That's how I do it. I literally keep it nice and simple. It's 12 to go, successfully climb. And a 14 gets them here, but by the next turn they'll get here without, and they don't have to roll again. That's kind of what that means. If they rolled a 10, and so that means they failed climbing down, I would say you're still here, you're tired. A 10, here's a die rank negative. Since they rolled a 10, they failed by 2, right? Because 12 was the default, whatever. And they failed by 2, so that's and half that is 1, so that's 1 die rank. I would give him 1 die rank of exhaustion. 2. He has to take 2 off of hit points of exhaustion. And maybe he's hanging right here. Like you're hanging here, but you're really tired. You realize this is rough. You banged up against the stone, not realizing, you're climbing down physics, and you banged up, so you just take 2 hit points, like a gasp of air, and you have to roll again to continue, the next turn, and that's the end of your turn. So that's something I do too with die rank results. If you go into the negative, imagine if you would have rolled like a 2 total, 10. So 2 minus 12 is a 10 difference. So that is a 5 die rank. Eek. And I would roll a d12. Take 10. Now they could do an armor save, so that'll reduce it, by the way, if they have armor on. But take 10 because you bang, slip, scraped your hand, maybe, running down. I might even put them right here. I would still make them roll again though, because they're hanging like crazy or whatever. Or I might just keep them up here, and they're slid down in the rope. They climb back up. They had to climb back up out of the pain and misery of it, and they're here, and they took 10. They get an armor save though. That kind of thing. So you can do that with die rank results too. You can do the negative, based on their fail. Another thing is if they have a grievous wound. So let's say this guy's at -4 die ranks, and she has to roll a miracle of healing to try to, which is a blessing, but it still requires a roll. She would have to do miracle of healing, and that all adds up to a die rank result. And based on the die rank she succeeds, then his wounding is miraculously gone. His broken elbow, sprained ankle, whatever the wounding is, a gash, a huge open gash wound. That's what the grievous wounds are. So she can roll to get a high grievous wound thing. Now those ones, because it's a grievous wound, I like to make those harder. for sure. So if he has a 4 die rank grievous wound, that's D10. I max it out at the 10. I take the 10, add it to the 12, it's 22. Grievous wounds, I max out because they're grievous wounds and they're harder to surgically, first aid, those type of things. So grievous wounds are scary in the game. They can kill you. They're tougher. You have to deal with them. You have to leave a dungeon if you have a grievous wound that you don't heal. She doesn't miraculously heal, and then at least for the whole day you are at that penalty for rolls. I love it, man. It's really a tough thing for them. So they are like very concerned about that. So she has to get above a 22 die rank result, right? Because I said he's at -4 die ranks, so that's D10. So 10, I take the highest with the 12. Makes that turns into a 22. She has to roll a 24 or 28, and half of that, let's say it's a 22, and she rolls a 28. So that's a difference of 6. Half of that is 3. So she takes off 3 of his die ranks miraculously. So he's still at -1 die rank, still a little sore, still a little achy, but the wound has closed miraculously through her prayer and vigilance all night long. He has awoken to this, it's still, a little stiff, still whatever, but there's that. Okay. I love die rank results. I love how I use it in the game. It really helps me to simplify. I don't have to think as much. I roll and simplify things like that. In that sense, like how much is it successful at? How much does it give them an extra? Die rank results someone can have an aid skill, as long as an aid skill with die rank results. A basic aid is just give them a die rank. That's a simple, basic way of doing it, and I've done that plenty. Just giving it, 1 die rank because I'm helping them. But if someone gets an aid skill, then I will say, oh, okay. So if you have an aid skill, we got to stop. You got to roll. How do you help them? How much do you know about what they're doing? Roll. You have your aid skill plus you have some techie, fixing repair skill, blah blah blah, or a research skill, and you help, and you can roll a die rank result to then give that to the other person while they're doing their thing. It's a little, it's obviously very nerdy and in the weeds, but some of the characters want to get into the weeds, especially when they're doing research, especially when they're doing engineering in the sci-fi version. In this one, not so much, but in the other one for sure. Now, when they're cooking, some of them, like if you have 2 cooks in there, one of them could aid the other with a die rank result as they're doing it because they're really into their, cooking something up. And it's a great little mechanic to use like that. And again, even though you get a bunch of die ranks, 9, 12, 15, 16, you could still roll low. You can still roll. There's still, it's less and less of a chance of rolling low, but there's still that possibility. All right, so I just wanted to go over that again. I know I'm just babbling and just it's just a joyful thing. You have to. Here's the last little bit of advice about GMing that you should know. The best way to learn the game is to just play and make mistake after mistake with your players and work it out in your head. You're gonna make mistakes. You're not gonna know everything, and as you play, you're gonna be confused. It's okay. Use the rules you understand. Keep it simple, and you will incrementally, bit by bit add more rules and get more into it. But it's really about doing it. Drilling in this game is really just about doing it with the players. And let the players know these are the rules, and this is what I'm trying to figure out, and what do you all think? And I wish I understood this better. And if you do something wrong in the game, just keep going and say we'll do that. We'll fix it later. Also, try not to look up rules too much during the game and do it afterwards. Just make a list of what does this mean? Did I do this right? And then look at it after the game and then correct it for the next one. So keep it simple. 12 is the default number for success and failure. And if the die rank resulting is a little too hard for you, make it a little arbitrary if you need to. If she rolls a really high prayer skill and you don't know the die rank result stuff in your head, just say, everyone get 1 rank die rank. Everyone get 2 die ranks. Keep it that simple. If you feel like if she rolled really well, everyone get 3 die ranks. If she rolled right above, everyone get 1 die rank. That's fine to start like that. And then later on you can work on refining the rule, your understanding of the rules, so that when you're GMing, you can do it better. Okay, so rules of the game are meant to be a guide, and and as a GM, especially if you're a starter GM, keep it simple. Use what's fun. Add on more and more complicated rules only when you are more comfortable and having fun with it and enjoying it. So make sure you're enjoying the game and the rules are there to guide you guys, you and the players through. But don't let it be a roadblock during the game, whether you understand a rule or not. Let's just decide on this and that, and then we'll move on and I'll address it later, kind of a thing. All right, that's it for now. I mean, this babbling little video. I'm gonna keep doing more of these. I'm doing so many political rants and stuff, which is a bummer, but we gotta preach the word. And I'm not a preacher. I do not want that responsibility. I am not a preacher. I am a layman, but a lame layman. But I also want to just get the word out in the view of the role-playing games, paganism, and the culture, and that we have to be engaged even in the games, even in that. So I'll make more videos. I'm gonna try to make more videos based on just the game itself, but I got to do all that other stuff too, because this is a whole new territory. For the Lord RPG, evangelism RPG, a Christian playing as an actual Christian in a role-playing game, whole new territory. Anyway, in the game of life, roll holy dice.